Dale digs down under. I'm digging down under me shed. Just got back from the shops, bought myself a little pump, get that water out of the sump hole, and I got my brewing drum here. I think I'm going to make some spirits out of this water in the sump. So I'll get this stuff set up, we'll start getting some water out of the hole, eh? So this little pump here, she just runs off of a drill, which is real handy. Chuck a bit of garden hose on it, eh, and get it working. Here's a couple of bits I prepared earlier. Force this other one on there. Try and keep these ends a bit clean. Come up on the back of that door there. So any of you that have done a bit of brewing before, you'd know that the yeast builds up in the bottom of your tank. So I jumped onto CAD and I designed this bit of a tube with a kick in the end of it, and it keeps all of the sediment and stuff that builds up in the bottom of the drum out of your mix. You can just turn the tap, you don't get any of that crap through, then you can just strain off the last little bit. Works really good. Let's have a go at getting some of this water out of here, eh? Come here, little girl. Bet you're glad I showed up. You've got to make sure you leave enough room in these drums to actually put the sugar in. You're supposed to sterilise the stuff too before you do it, but I don't think there's much purpose in sterilising it if I'm using water out of the ground. I don't think the yeast is really going to give a crap. It's just eating the sugar. So I'll go up and grab some sugar and we'll bring it down, throw it in. Make sure that you guys see every bit of this little process so I'm not bloody pulling your leg. Let's give this a crack. I'll get this girl up into the sun. She might come good. Your lucky day. So I've got the yeast and the sugar down here now. Let's get it in the bucket. There's a bit of floating crap on the top of this water. I was just thinking maybe I should get it out of there, but stuff it. Let's just put it in. Might add a bit of flavour. So normally when you're doing this, you'll warm the water up a little bit and dilute the sugar into the water just to turn it all into a solution. But it's a little bit cold, so I've just got to duck up the top and grab something to give this thing a stir up, and I'll do the best I can with stirring it up and getting it diluted, and then I'll probably pop it up and into the sun, let it warm up a touch, and then add the yeast to that. I'll get in there and get all this bloody sugar off the bottom. You've got to make it accessible to the yeast so it can eat it. When it runs out of sugar, all the yeast dies, and that's what ends up on the bottom of it. I just went up the house and got this bloody spatula and said to the boss lady that I'm making sump alcohol. She gave me a real funny look. Said, I'm not having any of that. Bloody more for me, isn't it? It shouldn't be any different though, because you've got to put it through a still and get the ethanol out of it, so it should work out exactly the same. It's just a bloody cool thing, I reckon. Supplied my own water for this stuff. Still had to buy the sugar and the yeast though. I was always told that when you're sterilising this, you use something like sodium metabisulfate and stuff like that, but realistically, they were making alcohol before they had these fancy chemicals, so I reckon it should be a goer. That's feeling good down the bottom there. Doesn't feel like there's any stuff left over. Oh, that can go in there for now. My bag of turbo yeast, she's only 3 months out of date. I think it'll be fine too. And it's kind of a good experiment for it, especially because it is out of date. May as well just use it on something like this. It's got a temperature gauge on it down here. It reckons it's at about 22 degrees. These things really go off their heads once they're over 30 degrees. You'll hear it going boop, 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 like a bloody mad bugger. So we'll get it up the top and get this temperature up a bit. Then we'll throw that bag of yeast in it. Bloody hell, now I've got to go and fetch that from down the bottom. Good on ya. Oh, bloody heavy. Oh. So I don't know how well it shows up on the camera, but you can see she's already 28 degrees sitting here. So what I'll do is I'll spin it around. That way that temperature gauge isn't in the sun. I'm not getting a false reading. We'll just let her warm up for a bit, eh? On a more serious note, it's time to get down there and put that concrete in. Let's go and get that sorted out. So I've got all this bit here dug out, about 100mm down there, ready to go for the slab. Just trimmed up around this bit of board that I had sitting on the ground. Now it's time to knock out that piece of dirt and get some concrete in here. As soon as we got the concrete in, I can fix up this bit that's sagged down on me and scared the bejesus out of me. That. Oh shit, that's not good. Thought I was in a lot of trouble when this thing moved down. So let's get that bit sorted out, get it all nice and safe, then we can keep digging that way. So before I go and knock that little bit of dirt out there and take it all down to the same height, I think I better pump out this leftover water, disconnect the pump, disconnect all this pipe work, and clean out the dirt at the same time. I think it's a perfect opportunity to get rid of all that excess silt that's built up down there. Well, before I go too much further, I'll get these 3 grotty buckets out of here and I'll break this bit of dirt away. I'm probably going to be cleaning more out of there anyway, so won't make it too smicko before I finish the job. I've knocked that bit of dirt out of there now. I didn't actually drop too much down the hole, but I got the jackhammer down there and knocked away that corner that was sitting a bit proud. Pulled 2 buckets of white clay out of this bit and a little pile of stuff that's mouldable. It'll be easy to make stuff with that. Time to just get this bit cleaned out and we can set this pump back up and get some boxing in. For those of you that are the health and safety conscious people, if you're wondering where me normal safety shoes that I wear are, bloody Charlie's ruined them all, hasn't he? So now I'm wearing these bloody things. The old boss lady won't be too happy about me wearing these, but my normal safety boots, they're out of action. Gonna have to go down and spend another $4 and get myself another pair. Bloody hell, speak of the boss lady, scared the bloody crap out of me. Bloody throwing stuff at me from up top. Well, while we're up here, we'll get this yeast in here, eh? Saying the temperature's between 26 and 28 degrees. So I'd say that means it's 27. So you can see all the way to the bottom there now. Pretty clear. Let's throw this in there. All the little yeasties. Oh, they're bloody loving it. Get them all wet. Get it dropping down. See how she goes, eh? So on top of these things, they have like a one-way check valve. So that way, as it builds up its carbon dioxide, it'll push down into here and bubble up and over, and it'll stop anything else from being able to get back in there. Bloody even better than it was before. That's the go. Got some water on the lens there. So for any of you guys that are new to the channel, all the water coming out of that tap there has actually come from the sump. I've got a water tank up the top that this thing pumps the water to, and then it returns it back into here so I can use it again for cleaning and stuff like that. But I've also got a check valve up there that means that I can get rid of all this dirty water whenever it's still stirred up, and then when it's come clean, I turn the check valve off and send her up to the tank. Well, I've given this joint a bit of a clean out now. Got the floor looking nice, so I'm not bloody traipsing mud around everywhere. Time to go and get a bit of plastic cut and put that across there. I've boxed up this section. This part here is actually attached by 2 screws up there. So I'm going to run the plastic up the side of this and just get the staple gun and whack it on. And that should stop the concrete from going down into the sump there. And I just got to run that bit of pipe through to collect the groundwater and stuff and whatever I hose off. By attaching that timber there with these couple of screws, it should make it easier to remove in the future too, because the concrete's going to be here. I'll be able to undo these two easy and pop that away, and then that should just fall down into the sump and I can retrieve it up through my hatch here. We're ready to do a bit of a concrete floor. Let's go and mix up some concrete. Another load mixed up in the barrow. Let's get this thing down the hole. Alright, that's the first step. We've got that section in. Now we just got to wait for it to get a bit harder and we'll put a bit of a finish on it. This is the first bit of the whole bunker build that I haven't been fighting with water. Well, the new concrete's finally gone hard enough to start pulling the timber away from it. Let's see if we can get this bit of boxing that I put in here out without wrecking this really nice job I've done. This will be interesting. It's going to be all those staples and stuff that I put through the plastic holding onto it. So I'm going to have to break that bit free. Oh, she's letting go over there. But you got to do this pretty much now, because otherwise you might end up with this bloody timber trap in here. It's a bit of a catch-22. If I didn't put that many staples in, the plastic probably would have let go and all the concrete would have gone down into the sump. But I put that many in, I can't get the bloody thing out. Oh, here we go. Come on. Let go, you bugger. Might just, I should be able to separate it. Bloody hell. Oh, there we go. Almost free. Come on. There we are. Get the bugger out of there. She's hooked up on me black pipe right now. Right. And timber's out. Oh, that there's going to be mint, guys. I can get cracking on doing some digging again now. Just wait till it firms up, obviously, and that way we can stand on it without getting our bloody boot prints all through it. And I can chuck a bit of timber across there. Support this bloody roof again. I've got an extra prop in there now, because just want a little bit of extra safety. And I figured I can have this bit in there. It means I can get rid of that bit of timber and sort it out properly, because I want it on the same alignment as this other bit, so that way we have a nice straight run going down the wall there. Oh, it's come together well, hasn't it? It's looking good. Alright guys, remember, small knocks break bloody big rocks. See you next time.